Okay, am I faking my disability? Of course fucking not. That's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. But you might be surprised to know that people with disabilities are accused of faking it all the time. In fact, many of the Instagrammers and YouTubers I follow who have disabilities and make content about disability have stories of being accused of faking their disability. And I just had my first experience of being publicly accused of faking my disability, and that's a milestone. That's a new one for me, and it was not awesome at all, but it happened, and that's pretty amazingly absurd. Me and my girlfriend went to this bar in Taipei called Crafted Beer & Co. It's in Yuanshan, if you're familiar with the area. Really nice bar. They just renovated. Great selection of beers. It was Friday night. We were really excited to kind of go out together, spend some time, have some drinks, just have a nice Friday night. We went into this place feeling good. Got a couple of non-alcoholic beers because neither of us drink, and sat down. We were playing video games there, and basically the guy came up and said he didn't want my wheelchair in the bar because he felt like it was, taking up room that other customers would like to have or something. I don't know. It was like very bizarre because the bar was like half full, maybe not even. So it didn't really make any sense, but ultimately he basically was like, I want you to leave, essentially go outside. We had just bought beers, so my beer is like basically full. And I reacted like, that's super fucked up that you're going to say I can't be in here with my wheelchair. It's something that I need. And after that, he threatened to smash my face in. The owner, this is the owner of the bar, by the way, owner of Crafted Beer & Co. He threatened to kick my ass, smash my face in. He put his hands on me, grabbed me, and then basically publicly accused me of faking my disability. He said, it's not real, I'm faking it, and get the fuck out of my bar. I've never been publicly accused of faking my disability, so that's a first. And obviously that's absurd. And I think, the first thing I was thinking was, like, what does somebody think that I would get out of faking having a disability? Like, what kind of benefits does this person imagine that I'm getting, that I would get or could get from like faking a disability, like getting myself a wheelchair, like not only just a wheelchair, but like a special, active wheelchair, and like rolling around, Yuanshan in it and coming into his bar. Like, what kind of benefits does he imagine that I would get from that? And pretending to walk all funny or something? Like, does he think I'm getting sympathy? Does he think I'm getting like some special deal? Because I'm not. There's no discounts in any of these places for people with disabilities. I'm paying full price for my beer, just like everybody else in there. Like, nobody's like sympathizing with me. Actually, it's the opposite. He's like kicking me out because he doesn't like that my wheelchair's in there for whatever reason. So the idea that I'm going to get some kind of benefit from faking a disability is just the most absurd, idiotic thing that I've ever experienced. And I can't imagine what's going through people's head, but the even more surprising thing about this is that it's how common that actually is. Like I said, every Instagrammer, YouTuber that I follow that makes, disability content, either about wheelchair use, etc., they have stories of being accused, especially if you're somebody like me who has a disability, but I can stand and I can walk a little bit. And people don't understand that at all. Not only am I not faking it, my disability, what I actually have is called incomplete paraplegia. That is a result of having a spinal cord injury. A spinal cord injury that resulted from me fracturing 6 of my vertebrae. So I broke 6 of my vertebrae, my spinal cord was damaged, not severed. So if my spinal cord had been severed, then I would be paralyzed from the wherever it was severed down. But because it wasn't severed, it's just damaged, like the wires are sort of like broken a bit. I still get a signal, so I can move my legs. I can stand up. My muscles work, but not fully. I can't actually. I'll never be able to walk like normal before again, unless they come up with like a new spinal cord. Some kind of new thing to fix spinal cords injuries, which people are working on, and maybe that'll happen in the future. But right now, today, that's not available. It's not going to change. So I have incomplete paraplegia. That basically means I'm partially paralyzed. My legs work partially. I'm able to partially stand. I'm able to partially walk. I have partial sensation. My legs are like 50% numb, right? I can barely feel my feet. They're like 80% numb. So that's why I need to use a wheelchair, because if I want to, like, walk around Yuanshan or walk around a grocery store, I can't. I cannot walk around a grocery store on my feet. I can't be on my feet for anything more than like 10 minutes, maybe like 15 minutes. I've timed it a few times to see like how long can I actually stand before basically the pain is so intense that I literally have to sit down. That's what's happening. I have so much pain in my lower body that it makes it impossible. Also, because the signal has been disrupted, my muscles aren't able to do what they need to do to give me like perfect balance. So yeah, I can stand and I can walk, but my balance is like really bad. And if even like a strong wind could blow me over, like people, I think if you're somebody watching this and you've ever seen me somewhere where I am walking, and usually I use a crutch, take a look at my face sometime. It's probably like this, because it feels like the chance of falling, the chance of tripping always feels super high. Like it feels very precarious when I'm walking. I'm always just like, my senses are super heightened because I'm watching for people. I can't have anybody bump into me because I know it's that easy for somebody to just like knock me over. And if I get pushed down by somebody, like say a crazy bar owner, who decides to grab me and throw me on the ground, that could put me back in the hospital and could injure me even more. I could end up dead, actually. Pushing me on the ground could kill me. If you're one of the 2 people watching this video, know that like this kind of shit actually happens all the time. If it blows your mind, know that it happens all the time, and that these kind of people are all over the place, making life difficult, making life absurd for people with disabilities, and like the best thing that I can do is focus on protecting myself, keeping myself safe, and trying to avoid these kind of people and these kind of situations, which sucks, because that means that like I have to start not going to certain places. Like I'll never go back to this place, Crafted Beer & Co. in Yuanshan. Like, what a horrible place. Like, what a horrible boss. You know, like what an unsafe, dangerous place, for somebody like me or anybody with disabilities to go to, So, that really, I mean, that really sucks for somebody like me. Come on, Kat, who, like I don't want to have to not go places for safety reasons. I don't want to have to not go places because people are assholes and have like ridiculous ideas about me, like faking my disability, like I'm pretending this shit or something like, and that because that just like results in a horrible experience. That night went from me having like a really great time with my girlfriend to just like horrible time, like, and I've got all that negative energy and juju. And then once again, people wonder like, oh, why are people with disabilities so upset? Why are people with disabilities? Why do they complain all the time? It's because this kind of shit happens constantly, and like, and baby versions too. So yeah, like I'm not being publicly accused of faking disability all the time, but there are these like micro versions that people like me with disabilities pick up on all the time. Things like, well, I mean, if you can walk, then maybe you should just focus on walking. Like why use a wheelchair if you can stand and walk? Don't you think you just like if you work really hard, you get back to normal? Like that kind of thing gets said to me, gets presented to me weekly, almost like weekly. It depends. Like if I'm going out and meeting people, that kind of thing comes up all the time, and it just like ruins the experience, for the most part. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at how I respond to those things. I'm getting better at realizing that like I can't change other people. I can't change the world necessarily. Like that's going to keep happening. So my best option is to develop better responses, develop better ways of like processing those things and handling it myself emotionally. And I'm doing that. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. And I've got a lot of new things in my toolkit. I've got a lot of new ways to respond. I notice that I'm able to manage my emotions better and better as time goes on. And okay, so I'm doing my part. But other people need to do their part too, man. Like educate yourself. you know, don't be an idiot. Stop looking at people in wheelchairs or with disabilities like they've got brain problems or like, like that's usually not going on. Stop assuming that people in wheelchairs or with disabilities have, probably been like that their whole life and that's their only story. It's most likely not true, since most people had their disability happen to them as a result of an injury. Stop assuming that hardly anybody has disability. Like the number is something like 1 in 7 people have a physical disability, but a lot of these people just stop going out. They stop showing up. They stop being in places because of all the challenges, like the inner challenge, the outer challenge. So be a little bit more aware of that. Have a little bit more compassion. Like you don't need to be a scholar in disability. I'm not. You don't need to fully understand. You don't need to fully comprehend the whole situation. That's not anybody's responsibility. But you can have compassion, right? It's not about comprehension, it's about compassion. And if you start with compassion and not just a bunch of ridiculous assumptions, compassion will open the door for comprehension. Compassion will lead to a willingness to comprehend. So I think that's what I feel like is important for other people, and maybe the point of my video today. Happy Sunday.